Welcome to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of lemon champ or lucky track dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we don't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussion,
Tips, tricks,
as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough in
Chrissy,
Chrissy,
I give you just the tip.
we're sure you'll giggle a little.
and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Tim, and there is no mental.
No, but we're still Everyone Racers, and welcome to a Moskvich-423 episode. The 1957 Moskvich 423 was the first Soviet-produced five-door station wagon designed as a durable cargo passenger vehicle. Moskvich is also known as AZLK or MZMA. During different periods, was one of the Soviet Union's major automobile manufacturers, and with roots dating back to the early 20th century. Company originated in when the Moscow plant of AMO produced the simple cars. Simple cars and trucks shortly after the Russian Revolution. After World War II, the facility was recognized as MZMA, Moscow Small Car Factory, which those letters don't match, but that's fine, which focused specifically on
Russian. So.
They do, I know, but that's like,
Russian.
also known as, and that's not at all how it was focused specifically on creating affordable, compact passenger cars for Soviet citizens. Early Moskvich models were heavily influenced by pre-war Opel cadets, both in structure and style, due to wartime reparations that allowed Soviet engineers access to German tooling and design. Moskvich had developed its own engineering identity, producing durable cars that were similar to maintain in harsh conditions. Models like the Moskvich 402, 407, and 423 became familiar sights across the USSR and Eastern Bloc nations. The company exported cars worldwide, including to Western Europe and even to the United Kingdom, where their low cost and ruggedness attracted buyers who didn't mind basic fit and finish. Based on the Moskvich 402 sedan, it featured a 35 horsepower engine, and a folding rear seat that increased cargo space and left a left opening rear door. Production ran from 1957 to 58 and before being updated. It reached a top speed of approximately 100 kilometers per hour. These were largely distributed to state institutions rather than private owners. The 1957 model is distinguished by its 402 style front grille, and later models adopted the 407 model styling. So if you are driving your Eastern Bloc wagon for anything else for that matter, we have a new bingo card. You probably should get it out because it's pretty good, unless your card has mental on it, and you're probably not going to get it. Because we'll move right on to what you're working on. Mental's not here because he's working too much. So he said,
working on working.
Any way that you can make it, and he was like, nope, he's covering for a guy. Even last week he was a little on edge about work. So Mental, when you listen, we are very sad that you are not here, but that's where he is. So,
Miss you, boo.
Oh, all right, Chris, you were working on some cars. Yeah,
I did a little bit. I changed the oil in the Cadillac because it was down to 20% life remaining, and it was a gorgeous 58-degree sunny day here in the mountains of Denver in February. So I was working in a t-shirt outside. So what a great day to change the oil and vacuum the car out and do all those nice little things. New wiper blades even, because I had a recent Rock Auto order. And anytime you have a Rock Auto order, the last thing you do is you look for wiper blades and oil filters for your car that are shipping from the same place, especially on closeout. So yeah. Every time. So new wiper blades, that's great. Went skiing on Saturday. Had a great day for the most part. And they've been working too much as well. I'm going to be also working too much until February is over, basically. Yep.
Well, yes, for good reason. Trying to catch up, make sure that you're not behind in a new job.
Yeah, that's good. And get ahead of a couple other things. So anyway, Chrissy, what have you been working on?
So Friday was my birthday. Thank you for the text. And yes, I got such nice people reaching out. We had my team which is new to me. I've only seen them for a couple weeks, so they got me got everybody some like really nice bakery cookies, and then got me some gluten-free ones. So that was fun. We had breakfast because we had a new guy come to visit our team and meet with that team. So we kind of had a meet and greet, and then I got myself takeout lunch, which is random. And then we went out to an Indian place that's local to us for dinner. So, yeah, super fun. Mother-in-law got some, actually, you might be able to, you could see them, some of them. I have some lovely sunflowers behind me, lots of flowers. So that was fun. And yeah, we have more birthday because Chris's birthday is this week. So between the two of us, we have lots of birthday celebrations. So this weekend, we're going to be continuing their celebration. On Saturday, we went skiing. It had a lot more snow than we planned, which was great. So we were planning on it being really icy, and I was kind of like, man, I don't really want to go. And so things were going really well. We were having a great time until the third to last run, where one of those accidents that happen when you faster than you can think about. I can only assume that my ski got caught on some ice. It flipped me over. All I remember is sliding backwards down the hill, and then my ski went the wrong way, which means my leg went the wrong way. And so now I have an injury. It seems to be so that was on Saturday. We're recording on Tuesday. It seems to be getting better. It doesn't seem like it's my knee. It's really kind of like the outside calf type thing. So I have ice on it right now, which my leg is actually freezing off. So we're trying. The problem is that I walk a lot for my job. So Sunday, I decided we did minimal things around here, made a casserole, folded some laundry, and then I sat. So I'm trying to ice as much as I can. I'm sitting at work. People are like, what are you doing? Because you don't sit at work. And I'm like, and then I hobble around. So we're getting better. I'm hopeful. Since it's down my knee, I think it'll be fine. Yep.
Fine. Everything's fine.
That's what I keep telling myself.
Mm-hmm. Birthday injury.
Yeah, post-birthday injury. And of course I did it. And then Chris is like, well, we still have more runs to do. And I was like, all right, we'll try. And then I'm like, every time I turned on that leg, I was like, this is not going well at all. Like, it's probably a little worse than just an owie. So, yeah. So I think we're doing okay. What do you have so much going on? Tell us what you have going on.
Oh my goodness. I have been so busy. I feel like it's been such a productive week. It's awesome. I made a little bit of content. If anyone's been on the socials, I've been working on the Corvette. Brought it outside. I ran it. There was what I thought was an overheating issue. When I test drove it last time. And so started it up, I thought maybe it just needed to get burped. My aftermarket.
It's never that.
No, my aftermarket radiator does not have a cap on it. So it's really tricky to fill it. Right. So to make sure that you've got all of the air out of the system, and you can't really pressure test it or anything. So it's weird in that regards. So I turned it on, let it get warm, and then I started to see a little bit of steam come out of the back of, like, under the cowl, like where the back of the motor is. Shut it down, looked around, didn't really see anything, did it again, and then it started leaking antifreeze out of the back of the motor. And I was like, oh no. So coming down, like right where the bell housing, transmission bell housing and the block come together. And on that car, there are steam ports. There's 2 in the back and 2 in the front.
I was about to ask about that.
So
those are the easy fix.
Well, they're easy. If it was in a truck, it'd be super easy, but it's in a Corvette, which means they're under the windshield, basically. Yeah. So after I twisted my arm in, like, the positions it shouldn't go with a little stubby open-ended wrench, I was able to get a wrench on it, and it only turned a quarter of a turn. I was like,
Hello?
Is Tim frozen for you too?
Yeah, Tim's frozen for me too. Tim, come back. Oh, just want to have a show.
At least I have a cat.
And he's holding his finger up like this. He has a little something rather.
And I'm back.
You have a little something rather. Because this is what you were frozen with.
For a long time. This big. Okay. A little stubby is what you said.
Okay,
a
you have
a little stubby.
That's what you had.
Wrench.
Yep,
Yes,
A little
yes.
stubby wrench.
Yeah.
And I was able to get it on there. It only turned like a quarter of a turn. So I was like, well, that's not it. So then I started talking with Pantless Matt, like, what else could it be? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it can't be a head gas because it'd be coming from like all over the place, right? So we're back and forth, and there's a bypass you can do on these motors to try to get the steam tube to go like corner to corner instead of just front to front, back to back. So we were looking at that, and he was like, well, let me see if I've got some of the parts. I think the LS2 has got a tube that does that. So while he's looking around for the parts, he finds a envelope that has 4 of the little gaskets that go where the steam ports attach to the top of the engine. And he was like, I wonder if I just have these laying around. So I pulled the front steam port off the front of the motor, which is easy to get to. And guess what? There's no little O-ring gasket in there. So chances are we forgot to put all 4 of them on. So I'm gonna swap those in next week. And hopefully that will be the fix for it. So
let's all hope.
Fingers crossed on that one.
Worst problem.
So I've got to take the fuel rail off and take the intake off to be able to get to those 2 in the back. But it's probably only hour and a half, 2-hour job. So that's not terrible. So I put the nose
head gasket.
Yeah, way different. So I put the front end of the car back on, put the fender liners back in. So the car looks more like a normal car again. We have very few pieces laying around in the garage, so I'm pumped about that. I'm going to have to wait for probably until I get back from my ski trip next week to actually do that work because I had a microwave problem. So I heated up my coffee back up in this nice little tacos are my Valentine coffee mug that my wife has. Because I was like, I'll pick this mug. It's coming up on Valentine's Day, right? It's so cute. So put it in the microwave for a minute and a half, go to take it out, and the handle is like liquid hot magma. And immediately 2nd-degree burn on my finger. I have a giant blister on my pointer finger now.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so I looked at the bottom of the mug.
It's okay.
Yeah, I looked at the bottom of the mug, and guess what it says? Dishwasher safe and microwave safe. Yeah, it's safe to put in the microwave. Just don't friggin' touch it afterwards. So, yeah. So Bernie burn on these 2.
Oh, that's so sad. Of course, you don't need those for anything at all.
No, definitely not. So, the good news is the blister is so like legit that it's thick. And I haven't I haven't ruptured it by accident. So I think it's gonna like hang in there until it heals up. So good stuff.
I guess that's good news.
Good news. Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
So, and then I spent probably, 10 hours reorganizing my entire garage. Kind of got that wrapped up, combined things in bins, threw a bunch of crap out. So I'm super pumped. I've been working hard to do that because Erica Snow will be coming to my house on Saturday and we'll be recording our first welding video. So expect to see some content coming on that, which is super exciting. And that's important because we might be talking about something like that shortly.
That's
so
where I thought you got your blister from.
Nope.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, I figured that. No.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's
Coffee
still
mug.
hot. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Coffee
that's what
mug.
I thought. Oh, that's even worse.
So bad. So, but I've got all the things I need. I picked up a welding table today from Harbor Freight. They had one for $189 with holes in it, and it's got all the little jigs that you can put in there to hold things down. So I'm rock and roll, ready to go, and that'll be super exciting. I went with Jeff Gates to pick him up at his shop, which is always awesome. Driven Garage, Hayward, California. Check it out. He's got a YouTube channel out now. Some really cool stuff on there if you've got some time to kill. But he brought me over to a local metal scrapyard where they sell they do fabrication too. So they've got a bunch of knockoffs that you can buy just by the pound. So I scooped up
Those are the best.
So I scooped up like $150 of sheet and angle and box iron and tube and stainless and all kinds of stuff. So I'll have lots of fun trying out the new welder with all that stuff. So it's been good. It's been super busy. Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun. So I'm excited to get going. More to come.
You are so busy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on. News and stuff.
Well, I hope none of you bought your tickets to the Circuit de Barcelona for March 5th through the 8th because the race is canceled. Yep. John Daggy at Sports Car 365 tells us that the Porsche Carrera World Cup race has been canceled due to, quote, economic and geopolitical challenges that made it more economical to just cancel. John states, Sports Car 365 understands the timing of the World Cup, which was going to feature the outgoing 992.1 Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car amid the rollout of the new 992.2 Porsche 911 Cup car to key single make markets this year. It also plays a factor in smaller than expected demand for the race. Well, the new car is set to make its debut in Carrera Cup in Germany, North America, and Asia, as well as Porsche Mobile One's Super Cup competition this year. Truth be told, how many people have the ability to drop what they're doing for a global event? With many of the 992.1s getting moved into the used market for those who run like the Sprint Challenge of North America and other similar series, the 992.2 customers are likely focused on the Carrera Cup. So a World Cup is logistically difficult for a full season team and is not budget friendly either. We have ideas for how much it costs to rent a track and put on a show like this. So if there just isn't money in it, it's probably best for everybody to just cancel the whole production. So much hoopla for nothing.
Yep.
It's got to be sad.
All right. Well, one of the most annoying parts of owning EVs can be the short range, especially if you happen to be doing truck things. So Scout's extended range EV seems to be catching some people's eyes. Tim Levin from Inside EVs tells us that Scout Motors made a risky move to pursue the electric platform with a gas-powered generator charged to battery, which is not like a typical hybrid because it does not actually power the wheels. Actually more like a series hybrid, like a locomotive, which is actually a really interesting idea to put into a car.
I think the BMW did that too, didn't they? The i3 when they first came out.
They had a 2-cylinder motorcycle engine that was a range extender, but it only had like a 1.5 gallon tank of gas because of some years regulation. So it was kind of useless. It was like fine in an emergency, but that was it. Anyway, so 85% of the company's reservations to date are for the extended range variants of the Terra pickup Traveler SUV, Scout CEO told Inside EV in an interview. The other 15% are the pure electric versions. So since this is the first of this type of vehicle since word of it came out in 24, 150,000 people reserved theirs. No, they won't get to see them anytime soon. They're set to go in production late 2027. And by then there's probably going to be a new hotness. Who knows? So, I think Ram is also doing that. They canceled their electric Ram, but they're still, I think, working on the series hybrid. Same thing. It's just a Pentastar stuck into the front still, but powering electric. So
You just have to boot a cat.
yeah. She was being nice, and then she decided to
Check
get
your
bitey.
bingo card.
You haven't seen them on the counter yet, but
She
that
decided to
movement
get
was.
bitey, so I
Oh, then she's
Tossed her on the
coming
floor.
towards me.
yeah, she was being very nice, and then got bitey.
You should play the Jaws music right now.
Pretty much.
Just little house cat. Just like, yeah. Anyway. Okay. I think we've all had at least one place where cars were threatened by mice or other rodents. We all have our own ideas of what things might work, what might keep them out. Well, an entrepreneur who was tired of finding the surprise of having mice living or eating your car has come up with a new concept that might just work. Andrew Collins at The Drive tells us about a product called Cover Seal, car cover that is a weighted blanket with a seal at the bottom that might just do the trick. Ken Hewing was the engineer who was motivated to come up with a solution when mice ate his i8 and had a 5-figure fix. So this car cover is a weighted belt sewn into the cover, making it come firmly in contact with the ground. No straps, ropes, weights, and it creates a little physical barrier to keep our fuzzy friends out. Well, heavy. It's like 40 pounds and a little cumbersome to put on, especially for the first time. It apparently holds up well to elements, though it comes with a hefty price tag of around $500. So we'll see. This article was just testing it out. So we'll see if this works. They said that it was working so far, but they were going to keep it on for a while. And this brought me to think, what do people cover their cars and boats with? Because we've had a couple renditions of things we cover cars with.
Snakes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We like tarps.
Well,
Car covers for cars. So the actual
the boat
car
was
covers.
tarps for years and years and years, and then we ponied up for a very fancy sunbrella custom fit cover that is delightful.
It's
And
amazing. It makes us remind ourselves that I guess a long time ago we couldn't afford this, but it's amazing now that we
a
can.
long time ago, we took it off. We put it on in September, and we took it off in June. That's it. Full stop. Now we take it on and off every time we use the boat. So it's a big difference. When you do it once a year, it's like, fine, I'll just use a tarp.
Hashtag worth it.
Hashtag worth it.
Except we did when we used to bring it to Pennsylvania. We used to take it on and off all the time. So
we should have done a couple of years ago, but for most of the boat's life, the tarp was totally just fine. But now it also lives in the pole barn, so not as necessary. It's more of a
Tim,
dust
any
cover at
insight?
this point.
Yeah, kill all rodents.
I mean,
Traps.
so-
Traps, poison, all the cats, whatever. Dynamite. Yeah. Genocide.
We just did that. We just found that we have some in our garage. So
the big bag of birdseed we left on the floor had a little hole in it. So it wasn't there before. So
actually, I'm pretty sure you left it on the floor, dude. But that's okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Also, before we move on, I have this quick note. Not on car covers. Remember I talked a couple weeks, maybe even a month ago, about a bridge in Kansas City that eats trucks? Def ate another truck. Just saying.
Good.
Not for, I just happened to see it and I was like, I already wrote all the stories for this week, but yeah, they probably should do something.
Num.
Okay, now we can move on.
You know what doesn't eat trucks, but it lists them and sells them and helps you sell yours? It's racing junk. And you can find in New Jersey a fully caged race car that was run in AER endurance racing and was second place in their class in WGI. It's finished in AER 14-hour race also and comes with 2 extra sets of wheels, so 3 sets total. It's set up for endurance racing and to accommodate a range of drivers from 5'5" to 6'4", which is pretty impressive. Here's the rub, though. The engine revs to redline only when the throttle is at 3/4 pedal travel. When it's at full throttle, it won't reach redline. The car is equipped, however, with a Haltech computer, so you can diagnose the issue. And of course, it's going to be a super easy fix, which is why he hasn't done it yet.
Yep.
What year is it? No idea. Is it manual or automatic? Not a clue. But it does have 3 really terrible pictures. Not of anything helpful, but it's cheap, so it might be worth checking out in person if you're in New Jersey.
It's got quite a scratch down the driver's side. Someone definitely got real friendly with that wall.
Racing stripe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
well,
AER. You can't expect
AER. It's exactly
right.
That's actually exactly what I was going to
Especially
say.
a slower car in AER. You're going to get hit by someone who is real racer.
But
Watch
for
out.
$4,000 and if it has race setup, then I mean, not that AER is technically.
It's only February. You've got time to figure out why the
Fix it.
Caltech doesn't work.
Yes. So we'll see. Upcoming races. I believe it is Champ that is going to be at the Road Atlanta Test Plus 14 hour, and I neglected to pull the stats. So have a good time. It's fine. Let's go into recent results. That's more fun. Okay. Oh, I think it's me. Okay. So we're going to talk about Barber. Barber was the first race really on the whole schedule. Apparently it was really nice weekend, really warm. Except there was like pool parties and no, it was 13 like most of the weekend. People were just saying how insanely cold it was. Okay. Class A went to Fronning Farms in a BMW. That's what it says.
Double boring.
Class B
Super boring.
went to the Team Achy Breaky in a 92 Ford Escort GT. Class C went to In Search of Excellence in a Edsel Ranger.
Bravo.
And right, isn't that amazing? Org Choice went to Rudolph's Revenge in a Jetta, 2006 Jetta.
Heroic Fix went to the Rust Cartel in an 87 Alfa Romeo GT V6. I think that's self-explanatory. Judge's Choice went to More Right Rudder. Must be some flight instructors in a 96 Volkswagen Passat TDI wagon. I Got Screwed. Event Horizon, a 1980 Plymouth Horizon.
The Built Kinda Tough award goes to Fopal America in their 67 Opel GT. The winner of the IOE went to Battle Cat Racing. You don't know Ditka in their 1995 Jaguar XJR.
Fantastic.
So of course we had no additional ideas on this race. So sorry, we have no more insight because we didn't have any stories to go along.
We also have lost Tim again. So he hasn't said the fact that the Halloween Meets Gasoline prize went to Maverick Bobby in their 1970 Ford Mavette.
Check it off in your bingo card that somebody gigablast because that's happened a couple of times. You could be getting close to bingo by now.
Awesome.
You don't usually gigablast. You've got issues.
I'm using Mental's workplace Zoom, and that's the only thing that's dropping off.
All right. That's where we can blame it. Is anything else we can put on our bingo card? Not sure. He finished your race, your list of winners.
HMG. Well, because I don't know which recording we're going to use, yours or mine. So I've got to make sure we finish that.
Probably not mine.
We have commentary on ours.
For 2 right now.
All right. So we didn't have anything additional. We'll try to come up with extra notes next race. Maybe we can get the staff to try to give us some insight on what each of the winners are, so we can give you a little bit more of story behind all of the winners.
Who doesn't have any insight behind any of the winners?
Correct.
Chrissy's parents. No insight.
That's correct. Yep.
Hello.
Okay. We have so much to talk about, so let's just move on.
Timmy.
Time!
Timmy is so geeked about this.
So excited.
Dude, I've been wanting to weld for 3 years. I've been
only 3
deep diving into this.
You're gonna put metal together with electricity.
I know.
Fun.
Weird.
Hot like welding.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Get us started. Like, what you decided you want to do this topic. What do you want to talk about? Tell me.
All right. So I think that the angle that I want to go at is the hobbyist, right? So there are always a lot of rookies that get into lemons, and I'm sure many of them don't know the powers of electrons melting metal together. So and you need to learn how to do some of that. Like, not everybody on the team needs to know, but one guy on the team should probably know how to do it. Like you
Two
can
is
pay
nice.
somebody to put your cage in and that sort of stuff, but just your basics, you're always going to need something repaired or fabricated. So it's a great skill to have. And if you're going to do it, um, you might as well figure out how to do it the right way. And how you approach it, the way that I've found is, I am going to do this as a hobbyist. I'm not going to have long duty cycles. I don't plan on ever like welding a cage in where I'm just going to be running the machine for 8 hours.
You say that.
And if I ever get to that point, then I'll upgrade my equipment, right? But for now, I have an Arc Captain welder, which is a entry line. Yes, ta-ta! It's a entry line welder, that multi-process welder that has the ability to do MIG with gas, stick, TIG, aluminum spool gun. So you've got a lot of options with it. Right now, it's lift TIG. I don't think it can do. What's the other process? Where
TIG,
it's
MIG,
with the
stick.
pedal. No, with the pedal. There's 3 ways to do scratch TIG, lift TIG, and then
I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway,
I use the
it's
pedal. That's all I've ever done.
Yeah. So I don't think it has the ability to do that, but they do have machines that do that, as well as convert to like an acetylene torch or I'm sorry, plasma cutter rather. So you can do a lot of different things with a machine. So it's really trying to figure out what your budget is, what are the ways you're going to try to approach it, and then kind of go that route. You can get really inexpensive welders for, Harbor Freight, the first one in where it's just flux core for under $300.
Just don't
out
do
the
that.
door.
Don't.
Right. Unless you're going to be making art. Like if that's the only thing you're going to do is make art, then that might
Or
be fine. But
like welding a fence.
Yeah.
Outdoors. That's the only reason to have that. Just say no to flux core. Friends don't love friends. Flux core, if they can help it. No.
So, I think kind of a middle range is where most people are going to. There's a lot out there, which is pretty cool. It's a more and more competitive market. I don't think you need to go with your big names like Lincoln or Miller, or Eastwood. You've got Yes Welder. You've got
there's a whole bunch
Hobart.
of Chinese copies of various things out there now.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how different they all are, frankly, especially under the hood. But I've done all of the welding that we've done, all of the cages we've made, except for the very first one, with a Eastwood entry level 140 amp MIG welder. That's it, and that's been plenty for everything we need to do. So don't think you need a big brawny 240 volt welder for any of this stuff. For most hobbyist stuff, you don't. You just don't need the power. You're not welding 1/4-inch plate together for things. So be realistic on what you actually need. Go quality over size.
Correct. And ease of use. Like some of the new stuff that's out there is it's programmed in. Like you punch in what your thickness of your material is, and it changes wire speed and your voltage for you. Like you don't have to look at the chart and mess with the knobs.
Like cheating. It's cheating.
It really is.
Totally
it's come a long way from what I've kind of dug into. So I think this is really about, all right, I want to get into this. What should my expectations be? Right. And how do I approach this? Well, you need more than just a welder for sure. So budget is really important. So what are you going to spend ballpark for a welder? For your inexpensive welders, you should expect to spend somewhere between $300 and $450, $500. And when you do that, make sure that unit explicitly supports gas MIG and is not flux core only. You can do both with a lot of the machines, but make sure you can run an argon CO2 mixed gas through through the wand. So that's super important. When you get to your higher ones, you're going to be in the 6 to 950 range. And of course, you can go to the moon like anything else if you wanted to go higher than that. But those are going to be your, Hobart, Lincoln, Miller, more durable, a better wire feed, kind of spool capacity is really important. And then voltage, a lot of them, you'll see that you can switch between 240 or 120. And they've got an adapter between the two. You'll tend to be able to support larger spool sizes, 4-inch, 8-inch over 4-inch. And things you need to figure out are like, does it ship with a gas regulator or a hose? Do I need to buy that separately? What are the sizes? Make sure the connections are correct. And then the big one is longevity of the company. Like a lot of these up and coming Chinesium companies they just don't have the history. They might not be around in 10 years when you have a part you need to get replaced. Whereas that your big names, they'll be around, they have support. You can go back and get whatever piece of the rig you need to get set up.
Right. Which came in handy, for example, when our Eastwood TIG was not working properly, basically out of the box. The fact that Eastwood was down the street and I could actually go talk to a real person, and they could drop it off to the people that are actually going to look at it, and that made a big difference. So think about that customer service too. Like Eastwood stepped up and got me a new welder, even though it was out of warranty because it was never used out of warranty, and they stepped up and were nice about it. So I don't know if you're going to find that with every fly-by-night Mr. Welder that you're going to get out there.
Captain Welder.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Another thing to think about when you're getting these is which features do you need and which ones are just kind of cool. Like there's something to be said for keeping it somewhat basic and just having your knob for wire speed and your knob for voltage. Those aren't going to break. When you get into all the electronic controls, all the different variables, all those things, that's a lot more chance of something breaking. So think about that. Like there's not much that can go wrong with a analog MIG welder. Like there really isn't. Like some stuff's going to wear out, but nothing's really going to break. You're not going to fry a circuit board. So consider that and how long you think you're going to keep it and how much the whiz bang fancy features are good. Although one feature I did like on a fancy welder, I was using Bill and Vicky's, some super fancy Miller that they have. And it had auto wire speed. Like you set the voltage still manually, but it'll auto set the wire speed, but it was all basically analog still. That was convenient to have, no doubt. Did enjoy that feature.
Yeah. So then what are the other things you're going to need other than your welder? I mean, there's a bunch. You're going to need the regulator kit. You're going to need a shielding gas bottle. You can rent one or you can own one. That's going to run you anywhere from $50 to $200. If you're
I'd recommend you just buy the bottle from a air gas place, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can just exchange it forever, basically anywhere. It's really convenient. And also don't just think, well, I only just need this little welding bottle. No, go big. Don't go to the one that's 6 feet tall. You don't need that, and that's a pain in the butt to work with. But try to get the one that's like, 3 feet tall at least, because it holds a lot more than you think, and it comes in handy having that to not have to refill it quite as often. And really, if you're doing a lot of this, get 2, because then you can run one all the way out and then have the other one back up ready to go. Especially when you're doing a nice cage weekend and you don't
know, scrambling on Saturday night when you're like, why is this welder working? Oh no. Or you're all ready and somebody forgot to close the bottle fully and it's been running for weeks, months. Yes. Ask us how we know.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this show's about, here's the mistakes we've made. We've got lots of them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot you can do for sure. So, one mistake you don't want to make is don't cheap out on a good hood. Make sure you get an auto darkening helmet And Chris is a big fan, I know, of the cheater lens for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, Chrissy, didn't you tell someone in your new work when they were welding and they were complaining about it? And you're like, where's your cheater lens? You're like, what?
Yeah, literally, the guy had his glasses on his shirt, and we have really nice welding helmets with the full air system in them, because we do plenty of welding. And somebody was like, oh yeah, I have them here so I can put them on under the glasses, or under the helmet, which like doesn't work. And I was like, just get a lens. And they're all like, what? They're like, yeah. So Chris is a new favorite thing. Do it. And Chris can see pretty well. And he said with that, it just like makes it so much better.
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
So I got my helmet like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, as a Christmas gift. I got a helmet and I got gloves because I was going to get started with stick welding. I had access to a really cheap stick welder and I ended up never doing it. So I was looking to get a cheater lens for this helmet that my father-in-law bought me. And so I'm looking it up and this and that. And so I find it online, the actual helmet on clearance. And because I'd never heard of it. And it was on sale for $20. So I'm guessing that there's going to be a new helmet in my future. I might just be recording through that helmet with my phone, and we'll go from there.
Nice for someone if you ever need someone to like help you or look at the welding, they want to learn, they can use the $20 helmet.
Yeah.
Sam, you need to go buy yourself like a Sentinel A60 or one of those. If you're going to do this enough, good welding helmets are $300 to $500. Yeah. And the differences are going to be in size of the viewport. It's a lot bigger. The quality of the optics. So how well you can see, how fast it changes, things like that. And in the comfort of the headgear, really. Like the cheap ones, the $50 one to Harbor Freight that we've all used, and I used for a long time, is just, it's like a plastic headgear with a little like piece of towel in the front and screw in the back. That's it. My Sentinel is like these hinges and pads and adjustable things, and you can wear this thing all day and it's comfortable. So things like that.
The first thing that I've noticed, and I haven't laid a bead yet, right? The first thing I noticed is that the helmet is short, or the one that I have is short. So if you have a light behind you, it reflects down into the helmet. So I'm going to have to figure out how to manage that with
you can just run
this hood that I have.
Like a cloth off the back of it. Just like tape a piece of cloth down the back and it'll block that through. When you're buying a helmet too, I suggest you buy extra outer lens protectors. There's always like a piece of plastic on the outside of some kind, whether it's just a just small square bit like the Harbor Freight ones, or this big yellow curved thing on mine. You're going to put it down on something and it's going to get scratched. Stuff, it's going to get hit with splatter. It's going to get hit with slag. So get extras of those while you're ordering the helmet. You're going to need them and they're cheap.
Consumable for sure.
Yeah. But just order it like right up front. So it's all getting shipped at once. You don't have to go find it later. Just get it.
And then additional safety gear. You need good welding gloves. Don't get like the giant, I can't use my hand ones. I mean, those are great if you're going to be like stick welding 1/2-inch plate or something like that. But if you're going to be doing, especially if you're going to be trying to do TIG at some point, something that will give you good protection, but also will still allow the dexterity in your hands to be able to do the work you want to do.
If I'm only doing MIG, I don't want my TIG gloves. They're like too thin. They get the good dexterity you need to be pushing the rod. But with the MIG, I like the ones that are a little thicker, like not complete like Muppet gloves, but the kind of the mid thickness, I think, is the best compromise on MIG, because you're definitely going to grab that hot thing some point. Even if you think you're not going to, like you're gonna. So have the extra protection of that, because the one in the TIG, it's like it's there, it's protecting you, but it's not nearly as much as you might want or might be used to if you're used to the big Muppet gloves. You can save those for shucking oysters.
Yes.
I've done that.
You're going to need some sort of welding table. You're something to hold your things down that is not flammable, or just do it on the ground, which sounds horribly uncomfortable. So
It is.
I bought.
That's what I did for years and years and years.
You could do it. You could do it, but unless you've got a wood floor, don't do it on the wood floor. But I just went and bought one at Harbor Freight they had one that articulated for $90, and then they had the one that I bought, which is solid. It's got holes in the top, so you can use little different jigs they have to hold it in place. That was $189. So not super thick steel on the top, but thick enough for what I'm trying to do. And you can always replace the top down the road if you want to.
I have the adjustable version from Harbor Freight because it fit better in my garage at the time. And then really only needed it for TIG. It's all I was really using it for. Nice thing with the metal tables is that if you're moving the work around a lot, you ground the table to the welder, and the contact between the work and the table passes the arc through. So really convenient to do it that way as opposed to on the concrete floor of the garage.
Lotus position.
Yeah.
And then you're going to need a lot of accessories. So the super important ones, you need a good set of welding pliers. You're going to want a vise, some squares, some rulers, and then some like soapstone. I saw a video that ironically the white out pens work really good and they don't burn off with the heat, unlike some of the other stuff that's out there. Good files, deburring tools, wire brushes to knock off the slag or any of the flux that you have, depending on what you're doing. An angle grinder at a minimum, and a chop saw would probably be better. And then things like clamps and magnets and stuff like that.
I only have like half of those things. I will tell you, after all these years, I don't even know what a soapstone does. Like the only squares I have are plastic. Magnets though, the corner like 90-degree magnets, those are nice to hold things together. And I've got some, if you're going to do butt welding, there's butt welding magnets to hold things. Those are handy. The wiring, the welding pliers, you're right. You need the right shape of pliers for MIG welding. There's a state because they let you cut off just enough off the tip correctly. They let you grab the replaceable tips. You can cut the wire correctly. All those kind of things are nice, but you don't have to spend a lot of money on them. The Harbor Freight ones are totally fine, and you don't need to go expensive on those. I've never used a file really on almost anything, or a deburring tool. Nope. I mean, I've got a bench grinder if I want to clean stuff up. That's usually what we do. It's fast and easy than doing it by hand. But a wire brush, yes, you definitely need a wire brush. And if you're doing any kind of different metals, you need different brushes for each different metal. You can't be using the carbon steel one on the aluminum. You're just going to contaminate it all.
Yeah, especially if you're doing TIG. TIG needs to be super clean.
Yeah, it does. And even then, even if you're rubbing it with acetone, everything, like one wrong move and it is contaminated and it's just going to be a bitch. Yep.
All right. And then the essentials, you need to get gas cylinder, regulator, flow meter. Which generally want for
regulator and flow meter usually comes with the welder. Like,
yes,
whatever machine you're going to buy, it's going to come with that. Cylinder does not, like we talked about before.
And you're going to want to do, if you're doing mild steel, you're going to want probably a 75-25 argon CO2 mix, which is often called C25. Or you can go cheap with straight CO2, but you're going to get a lot more spatter.
And if you're welding aluminum, you're going to need straight argon.
Yes. Now, if you have a spool gun, you don't need to do that, which is interesting.
Yep.
MIG wire. Generally, you're going to use 0.03 or 0.035 for mild steel, which is most of the things that hobbyists will need. You won't need anything crazier than that. We talked about some of these other things already. One additional tool I think that is helpful is some sort of
what is he going to say? Some sort of
Ear.
I don't know. Well, on his list,
Gun.
he's got. We talked about the helmets.
Gear.
Spare, like you do need spare, like the contact tips. You do need to change those out once in a while, and they are wire size dependent.
Maybe it was gas something.
How about a cart for your welder in general is nice to have. Like can't imagine doing this with just the welder sitting there, like on the
That's so annoying because you have to drag it all together.
Right.
Has to make sure that the gas. What were you going to say? You were something about the gun.
But I was saying you need a cart for your welder. Cart for your welder is a nice thing to have because then you can put the bottle on the back. If you've got other consumables, they can all live on there. Your helmet can go on. You have
like
the gloves can go on one shelf. It works
like
really
one set of snips that live on the cart. So then you don't have to go back to the garage to the tools to go find it. You get all your stuff on the cart. I like it. What were you saying, friend?
Where did I leave off? Where did I?
It sounded like you're
going to blast off the world again.
It's like I'm going to need I think it started with a G, is what I think you were saying, but we weren't sure. And I said, well, cart, not a G.
A cart's good. How about a welding blanket, fireproof welding blanket, and a fire extinguisher? Those are things you should have in your garage for sure.
And
I've never had a welding blanket, but I have a fire putter outer blanket that hangs on the wall. You kind of grab.
We have them like in most rooms. Right. You know what? Instead of in addition to a fire extinguisher. Oh, stop! Cat's eating me. Sorry. A water sprayer. A industrial spray bottle of water. There have been plenty of times where we have been especially with when you're building cages, if you're welding to something and then underneath is catching fire, having somebody spray underneath, like in a wheel well or something like that. If you're spraying or under the car when you're putting the plinth boxes in, things like that you can be spraying. Not necessarily if you're just like putting, like two pieces of metal together, but sometimes things catch fire and a little bit of water. You don't need a whole fire extinguisher.
Yeah, it's a really quick and easy way to put out the little tiny fires that you get when the little ball of slag rolls away and gets on like cardboard.
Or your greasy crap can.
Yeah,
something about it.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah, undercoating welds or burns really well when you weld on the other side, and it smells delightful.
Amazing.
It's even better for the person that is chosen to lay on the ground to stick their head next to the fire so they can see it and then be spraying the water bottle. So they get to smell it even more.
Yep.
Speaking of that, a fan is not a bad thing to have. Make sure you've got some ventilation in the garage. You don't want it blowing directly on your work, but you do want it to try to circulate and get those gases out of there, and be super careful if you're welding anything other than mild steel, because some things will kill you.
Tim, did you ever hear about the time I had middle fume fever?
No, let's hear about it.
Oh, okay. Do you really didn't?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay, you really
PSA.
did.
I was welding up a strut tower brace for our old Civic. I think it was the wagon, actually, even. That's how long ago this was. And I was just using some scrap I had around, and I'm out in the driveway, and it's a little windy, so I'm getting real down close to the work as I'm lying down on the ground in the driveway welding this together. And I finish welding it up, and I turn it over, and I see this like white, fluffy kind of residue on the backside of one of the pieces. I'm like, I think that's bad. And what that means is I had welded galvanized steel, and if you're going to weld galvanized, you have to clean it, like not just clean it, literally grind the galvanization, which is a zinc coating, off of all of it. And I didn't know this was a galvanized piece. I had been right up close to it. I had breathed in those fumes. Within a couple hours, I had the symptoms of basically the worst flu you've ever had in your life. I was
you stopped and were like, oh no, and then go and drank a half a gallon of milk. You missed that part
because that's a thing. Apparently helps. Didn't help me.
It didn't help at all.
Didn't help at all.
I'm laughing now. It's not funny.
I had the chills. I was under I had like a hat and sweatshirt and like under a blanket, and it was terrible.
And this isn't like it's 70 degrees, 60 degrees outside.
It's September,
and he never gets sick.
Literally poisoned.
Literally poisoned.
So the next day, I had to drive from.
It was October.
I drove to Hartford for a work training class, and the car I have is a Z4M Coupe, really comfortable cruiser, right? So I feel like death the whole way. I get to my hotel. All I can do is like lie on the bed and have hot flashes and then cold chills and then hot flashes and cold chills. Repeat. And I did this all week. And I'm like sitting in class and I'm then like profusely sweating and then clammy and white. And I apologize to people at like my table. It's like, I'm not contagious. I'm poisoned. So like, sorry. So it was a really, really terrible week. And that week eventually later led to me learning I have a penicillin allergy and having hives.
Well, you got home and went to
a 9-hour ride home from New Hampshire without.
That's why I know it was October.
I got home at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
it led to a whole disastrous series of events.
Well, I knew you needed antibiotics for the metal fever, I think, because you didn't get.
It's not bacterial; it's poison. It's just because my immune system is so screwed up. I got
then
an
you got
infection.
Yes, and strep maybe. I think you had strep
like
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was such a mess that anyway, it all stemmed from poisoning myself from welding something galvanized. So
kids, don't do it.
Don't do that, kids.
Don't do it. And Chris does not get sick like ever. So don't do it.
It was bad.
You need a full respiration cover,
or just
the legit stuff.
Don't do it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. 100%.
Don't take the risk.
Just look at it. Look at it first. Is there any chances it's galvanized? Even if it's painted, it might be galvanized underneath it. Grind it all off. If you're not sure, grind all of it off to bare. It's the only way.
Like you just use a grinder or like a bench grinder or a hand grinder, and that's okay.
Flap disc,
because you're not
abrasive.
You're not burning it.
You're not burning it. That's why it's not. That's why it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a wire wheel, not enough. You need an abrasive disc to actually remove the outer surface completely. Good times.
Okay, don't do it.
Terrifying.
For serious.
Terrifying.
It's kind of terrifying. Yep. Has made us concerned about it. Look at that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that leads us right into phase 1, which is prep and safety. Set up your welding area if you're learning. Don't learn on your cage. That's a terrible idea.
No.
Figure out how to do this like on blanks, right? So find your spot.
All your scrap.
Yep. Find scrap, fireproof surface, which could be a metal table, a welding blanket, concrete floor, whatever. Get your safety gear ready. Closed-toed shoes, not your safety flip-flops.
My safety flip-flops are fine.
And I will say, not just closed-toed shoes. I've welded in sneakers many, many, many times. I also have the holes in my sneakers and socks to prove it. So, yeah.
Leather. Yeah, leather's good.
Like not mesh. Even like, leather hiking boots with the vent and stuff in it. Nope. It's going to go through those too. Again, ask me how I know. I have like sacrificial socks for when I'm welding stuff sometimes because they're going to get more holes in them. Yeah.
Yep. Well, then prepare your new welder. Unpack it. Read the manual. Set up the shielding gas cylinder, regulator hose.
What? Read a manual?
Yeah. Tell Manuel. Check out or YouTube. YouTube's great. I've watched so many YouTube videos so far.
Manual.
Make sure you're not going to knock your explosive gas bottle over. If you don't have a cart, like tether it to something. That'd be a good idea.
Because if you knock the valve off the top, you have a missile.
Yeah.
And a broken, expensive tank that is no longer good anymore.
Yep.
Load in your MIG wire, depending on what you're doing.
Mostly it's going to be the 35, unless you're doing just sheet metal, then you need the thinner stuff. But most of what we're doing is the 35.
And then test your gun function without any welding, there's also a way to check your settings on your wire feed to make sure that you have it tight enough, but not too tight. And it's a little block of wood test where you bend the tip of the wire and you push it, let the wire push up against the wood. And when it no longer slides on there and it'll push the wood, then you're good to go. So there's YouTubes on that, which is kind of cool.
Just learning how to load the wire into the feed without it exploding like a clock spring is important.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right?
Oh.
I would also suggest that if you're going to be doing this, if you think you're going to be doing much of this at all, just buy the big spool of wire, not the little ones that come with it, because those little ones, you go through them pretty darn quick.
Well, that's exactly what it is with buying the normal size tank. Even if you don't think that you don't, especially when you're starting out, you don't necessarily know how much you're going to use, because if you suck at it and you keep squeezing the gun and then you just keep shooting it out and then you have to keep cutting it off, you're just wasting it. So yeah, let's just get the big one. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So you got your space, you got your welder unpacked, you've hooked up your gas, you've turned it on. You've got your wire feed through. You're there. Okay. So now you're just going to go zapping stuff.
Do it.
Right? Yeah. There's still more stuff you got to figure out before you start zapping, because there's two main settings on the welder, and there's a setting on your gas bottle. Gas bottle has a flow rate, and you need to adjust the flow to be enough to shield the work. And what the gas is doing, the gas is coming out through the nozzle around the wire and shielding the area of the weld from oxygen so that it will basically burn effectively. If not, you get a real porous weld and it's terrible. You'll find out. So normally I like to have it around 15 cubic feet per hour is about a good number. You want it just enough that it's shielding and you don't get a porous weld, but not too much. And too much, all you're doing is wasting your expensive welding gas. It's not going to hurt anything. You're just wasting your expensive gas.
Just your wallet.
Yeah. Okay. The two settings on the welder are essentially going to be voltage, how much electricity is going to go through this thing, and wire speed. Now let's talk a little bit about how MIG welding works. Is you've got your ground clamp that goes on one side of your work, and the other side is electricity is flowing through your welder through the little wire that sticks out the end of the tip. And when the wire is activated and touches the same work that the ground clamp is in, you're creating a short circuit, and that short circuit creates heat. That heat melts the metal of the wire. And that heat of the melted metal of the wire can also melt the things that it's touching. So that's another thing. The really cheap welders, the trigger only activates the gas and the wire feed. They're always hot electrically. Those are terrible to use. That was my very first welder that was like $100 from Grassroots when I was like 20 years old. Don't get one of those, because that's really hard to work with when you can't touch the wire to your workpiece. You have to hold it just back a little bit and then hit the wire. It's really pain to work with.
Talk about polarity too.
You wanted you, Tim, because I've never changed the polarity of my welder because I've never welded flux core. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Put it on the MIG setting and then leave it there.
Yes. So basically, if you are using gas, the polarity in the machine, there's a positive and a negative. You've got to set it up properly where you have the clamp set to positive or negative, and then the torch on the opposite. And for with the gasless, you need to have it for one particular setting. And if you're using gas, it's the exact opposite setting. So when you first get your welder, make sure you set it up to however you're going to use it. And if you are going to switch over to the opposite way, whether to gas or to flux, make sure you swap that polarity in that machine.
And then throw that instruction away, because you're never going to change it ever again. Just, it's going to stay that way. Don't ever Get friends don't let friends flex weld.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now you're ready to start some welding, right? I think you got to burn some metal somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So get some scrap. And my suggestion for your first is to find a piece of flat stock. Keep it simple. You're just going to need to lay down a few couple inch long beads to start seeing what this feels like. And this is not the time to start with corners or butt welds that are joints, two joints together, or anything like that. To keep it really simple, just lay a bead down on top. So get your scrap out and do this. And so you say, well, that's great. How do I do it? Do I just put it down and pull the trigger and move the thing? Well, kinda you do. What you're doing with welding is you're creating a puddle of molten metal. And then you're moving that bit of molten metal around in various ways to go to the places you want it to go. And the best way I can describe it, it's like coloring. You're just kind of filling in the area you want to fill in while you're coloring. And the easiest way to do that is lots of little kind of curly cues, like little lowercase cursive E's. That's kind of the easiest way to go. Just little cursive E's, and you keep moving that puddle, moving the puddle, moving the puddle, moving the puddle. And that's that. That's the very basic way to start.
What about angle of the torch? And are you a pusher or a puller?
Depends on how it fits. Depends on what I'm doing. So what Tim's talking about is if you're going from left to right, you're a puller if you have the gun leaning to your right so that the wire is trailing out behind it as you're going forward. You're a pusher if you have it to the left and that the wire is leading the gun as it moves across. I will say most of the time I'm probably pulling rather than pushing. But if you can actually get closer to straight up and down, well, not quite straight up and down, vertically up and down, but lean back toward you, I find that is probably the easiest and best overall. It's kind of somewhere in the middle there. Now, there's so many variables that you're going to find as you're doing this as to how well it works. First up, how far away are you? How far away is the torch from the workpiece? You want it to be pretty darn close, but not touching. Because the closer it is, the better the shielding gas actually protects what you're doing. If you're far away, the shielding gas dissipates. It doesn't do as well. The wire starts to cool as it's coming out of the gun. So pretty darn close. Next thing is how fast you're moving the gun around. If you go just and with your little E's, you're moving the heat really quickly and you're not going to be able to lay much of a consistent puddle. If you go really slowly, you're going to concentrate your heat and it's going to be too much. And if you're on, not on a real thick piece of work, it's going to burn through the metal because you're going too slowly. You're gathering too much heat in that spot and the metal will actually just melt.
If you're doing just lines on plate, do it both ways. From what I've seen, if you go too fast, the weld will be very skinny. And if you go too slow, it will be way too fat. And you'll see the heat rainbow really, really extend pretty far from both edges of that weld.
Yep. Yeah, you really want to try to be consistent with whatever settings you start with, essentially, which look at your machine. It's going to have a chart that says, all right, if this thickness, you want to start with around this voltage and around this wire speed. Start there and just don't mess with it for a little while until you can, do a fairly consistent bead a couple inches long at that setting. Great. Like Tim said,
make sure that material is clean. It doesn't have oil on it for like the protective oil, or it doesn't have rust on it, because that will impact the puddle as you're trying to move it.
Yeah. You cannot weld dirt. You cannot weld oil. You cannot weld rust. You can weld metal. or, metal with things like weld through primer and stuff like that on it. But that's a future episode. So yeah, so this is the time to start trying stuff. Like once you've done it consistently a few times, okay, now try angling the other way. Now try vertical. Try every of those things. And now start changing your settings. Like, okay, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to turn my wire speed down. What happens? Understand what happens. Then put it back. Do it normally again. Turn the wire speed up a ways. What happens? So you can feel it. This is how you will then be able to know what you're doing wrong when you're doing it and how to adjust to make it better. Turn the wire speed way down. And also when you're doing it, if you turn the wire speed way down, try to do it again, you're going to notice the weld is going to stick way up proud of the workpiece, not kind of flat into it. And that's because it's too cold. It's just sticking on top. It's not actually penetrating the base metal and becoming part of it. It's just sticking on top. If you go too hot, it's just going to be really flat. You're going to burn through unless you have to work it on like plate. So things like that. Just try all of the things knowing that they're going to be wrong so that you can fix it when it happens.
Yes. And then let's talk about the sound, Chris. Talk about that delicious bacon.
So much of it is sound. I have definitely welded things that I can't see by sound, mostly in roll cages and like the weird spots you can't put your head up to see, the welding the main hoop to the forward bars. I can't see the top of it. I can put the welder in the right spot. I can do the motions that I'm pretty sure it needs to do, and I can listen to the sound. And if it sounds good, it sounds like hot frying bacon in a cast iron pan. Sizzles. And that's great. You want the sizzle.
How about Jake?
Chrissy could tell us what Jake sounds like.
Yeah.
Tig is a completely different animal. That's a different show.
I know. We're just talking about it, and I had to bring it up.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want it to sound like bacon, and I'll do
a MIG episode of that, Chrissy.
Perfect.
Oh, Giga Blast again.
Yeah. Oh, you're here. You're all right. So yeah, listen to the sound. The sound is important. And also, he
called it before it happened.
Yes, he called the Giga Blast.
Okay, good.
Now he stopped with his tongue sticking out. This is a good look for you, Tim. Yeah.
Giga Blast again.
Okay. And so now eventually you've done this a lot. You're going to start maybe trying to put two pieces of metal together, actually weld something
if we're ready
together,
for that.
Right? So there's a couple of things you're going to try to do this. It's like, all right, let's try butt welding two things together. So you're going to take two pieces and stick them together on the same plane and try to weld the seam of those two pieces up. That's a butt weld. Try it. See what happens. And then when you're done and it's cooled off, try to break it. See if it breaks. See where it breaks. That'll tell you, did you have enough heat into it? Like if it just breaks right off, you're not getting good penetration because you didn't have enough heat. You can get more heat by turning the voltage up or slowing down your motions so that the puddle stays in the same place longer and heats up the base a little longer. But you want to try to destroy all of the things that you try to weld together initially.
You can also cross-section it, and then I can't remember what the chemical is, but you can put a chemical on it, and it will show you by color what the material of the mild steel is versus the weld material, so you can see what your penetration is.
Yep. Yeah, cutting things apart afterwards is great. So now you've done flat, you've done butt. Try putting something upright, like put a magnet behind one piece, 90 degrees, and try welding in the cavity between them. See how it goes. And now here's where I'm going to give you another technique. Instead of the little curly QEs, is a C shape. So you just keep going back and forth in a C or a crescent moon kind of shape. And that can help bridge a little bit of a gap or, a valley between the pieces. I find that to be effective at times. So give them both a try. See which ones works best for you.
What if you're welding two different thickness materials together?
Well, then it gets about heat management. And this is something you learn the first time you weld a spreader plate to the floor of a car. When you're welding 1/8-inch plate to the whatever bullshit gauge steel they use in a 1980s economy car. And the way to direct the heat where you want it to go, which is toward the plate, is to angle the gun toward the heavier material. So let's say I'm welding the situation we just talked about. I'm going to angle the gun not quite 90 degrees on the floor of the car, but up maybe 10 degrees. That's it. And you're going to hold the gun on the plate material for about, say, 70% of the time, and then just kind of dip down to the thin material. Dip down to the thin material to drag that puddle down to catch the thin material, then back up to the plate. Dip down to the thin, catch up the plate, because you want to be directing the heat to the upper, thicker material and not blowing through that. But keeping the heat there, you need enough heat to penetrate that thick material, but not too much heat to blow through the thin material. So that's why you want to concentrate your energy physically and in time by your gun movements. But this is kind of welding 102 or 3, as opposed to right now we're just kind of sticking stuff together. But at some point after you've done some butt joints, you've done some lap joints overlapping each other. You've done some vertical joints, corners. Right now it's corners. You get those pieces of roll cage tubing, fish mouth one of them, or have the end of an offcut of a bad piece, and put it up to another piece of tubing and practice welding around that tube. It's you don't think you can just keep going around the whole joint. You can't. Like, it usually takes 3 or 4 different angles and tries essentially to weld all the way around a roll cage joint. Yeah.
So much to learn.
Yeah. And now we're not even talking about welding upside down, which is fun. When doing so, just be mindful of where the slag is going to drop when it does. I'm just going to say that. Okay.
Slag is liquid hot magma, just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I once heard a story about a guy who got a piece of liquid hot magma in his ear, and he could hear it searing the earwax until he could get it out. Yeah.
That's a hard no.
Exactly. So that's for future times. But again, the principles are all the same. It's about controlling that puddle. If you're going vertically, you can't have a big sloppy puddle that you're working around. You got to keep it a lot tighter. Otherwise, it's gravity. It's going to drop, and it's not going to actually do what you need it to do. So you go smaller. Then we get into things like heat management. You can't, if you're welding something, you can't necessarily just go along and weld a 8-inch bead down the thing. You're going to have so much heat into that, you might actually warp the things that you're welding. So you got to stitch weld it. Do 1 inch on one side, and then 1 inch on another side, and then 1 inch on the third side, and then kind of go back and forth and all around, and the cat's on the counter, and all those things that you need to be cognizant of that you'll learn over time. Heat management. Yeah, welding's really a lot of it's heat management.
Check it off in your bingo card.
Kitty cat.
So, all right, you kind of got some of these skills. You want to make something finally, right? Maybe you take that welding cart that you bolted together and you weld it together. Clean the joints up, put it in place, clamp it, and weld those things together. Because who cares if the welds on your welding cart are ugly? Nobody. Really? Right?
Nope.
It's a great
no one's going to notice.
Right. Maybe start by making like a little bracket or something. Brackets are handy, and that's the kind of thing. Once you have a welder, you're like, well, I need a bracket. Okay. And you just go like make one. Where before it's like, well, that's impossible. How do I get a bracket?
I gotta go to Lowe's and go find this by this, and then hope that it fits.
Right. It's like, no, I'm just gonna make one. Like
I've
definitely fixed things in my kitchen with the welder because I needed to make a bracket for
yeah.
something. I'll just weld together, come back in 5 minutes and it's done.
Yeah.
Metal crazy glue.
Yeah, it's great.
Kind of.
It's a hot glue gun.
Mhm. Super
So
hot.
when you're done, you want to clean these off a little bit because when it's done, there's going to be a lot of carbon and just dirt on the surface from this. You can use that wire brush to clean them up. There are different schools of thought on grinding them to clean it up, depending on how much strength you want to leave. If you want to leave maximum strength, like on a roll cage, don't grind it. Leave all the metal there. If you're trying to make a more finished surface, you're going to need to grind off some of the excess. But if you're going to do that, you have to prepare to do that. Like you can't just butt weld two things together, weld them, and then grind it all off to flat. There's actually very little metal actually holding it together at that point. You need to bevel the edges of the pieces you're welding together to make a little channel, then weld it together, and then you can grind it smooth because you've got some fill still in there, for example. So be careful on grinding, especially on anything safety related. Don't take away material if you can help it.
Don't do anything structural for the first year. Like just do silly things. Like don't fix the tongue of your trailer. Like that's a bad idea to like start there. Do make little brackets and things.
Yep. And it's really not going to be until I've heard this said, and I've done it many times over. Once you've laid down a mile of wire, you're going to have a pretty good feel for it. And you think, well, it'll take years to do a mile of wire. It doesn't. I did a mile of wire in one weekend of welding on a race car. It was a lot of welding, but I used 5,000 feet of wire that weekend. But it was a complete roll cage, all the spreader plates, plinth boxes, seat mounts, seat brackets, gussets, you name it. I just didn't stop welding. So
all the things. Well, I think there's like so much to talk about. I think watch our socials. I'm going to be posting some stuff.
I can't wait to see. Hopefully you don't burn yourself.
No more microwave burns.
No more burns.
No more burny. And you'll get to learn through my mistakes, which is what we do here at Everyone Racers.
Yay! I can't wait to see. Good luck.
Well, thank you.
You're learning from pro, so it's all good. Well,
she's going to be just judging me and telling me how bad I am, really.
I'm sure she will not.
Some people pay extra for that, but
all right, we're done with welding for a little while.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to have more. We'll have more and talk about, I'm sure we can talk more about like mistakes and how to fix them and things like that. And Tim will talk us through what he's been learning and how it worked and which tips worked for him and how I was wrong about something and, all those things.
How many tips that I welded to the table?
Oh, you just pull it back off or cut it.
Curse a little and
Curse,
fix it.
Well, if you leave a whisker on something, you just go back over it and it melts back in. So it's fine.
Looking like somebody who's done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nope. All right, friends. Well, thanks for joining us. Always nice to have you.
Yeah.
Hot Lake Welding.
Yep.
Totally.
We'll talk to you soon.
Tim's internet.
Oh, way better. I don't know what was going on today.
Oh, no.
Train wreck.
It's all right. Did anybody get bingo? If you did, let us know. If you're close, let us know.
We'll send you things.
Sure.
I'll make you a custom bingo
something rather
weld thingy.
Yep. I made you a present. Here you go.
Here's some ugly molten.
Here's some metal with whiskers.
Yep. Perfect.
Good luck. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text us at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, or even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those